everybody, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my January wrap-up. In these, I'm going to be wrapping up all of the books, movies, oh my god, TV shows, anime, games, everything that happened in the month of January I'm going to be talking about in this video. So it might be long, but before I get into that, I want to talk about something that I've been thinking about and struggling with and wondering if I should do it or not, and I think I am. It won't be, of course, for January. I'm already doing this, and it won't be in the month of February, but I might start it in the month of March with something else that I'm thinking of doing, and that is my monthly wrap-ups. It concerns that. I don't want to do one monthly wrap-up anymore. It's really, really hard for me to remember every single thing, like all my thoughts and feelings and everything that happened in the books or whatever that I read or watched or anything in the month of, or in that month. You know, it's really hard in those 4 weeks, maybe even more. I mean, sometimes it takes me a long time for me to like sit down. Like, I think that's why it's so hard for me to sit down and do a wrap up, because I know it's going to be so long. I know I'm going to struggle with remembering things, and you know, most of the time I'm just like, I just have to bite the bullet and do it. But I don't want to feel like that anymore, and so I'm thinking that I'm going to be doing 2 wrap-ups every month, at least starting in March, hopefully. I want to do a mid and an end, so for every 2 weeks do a wrap-up, pretty much. A lot of booktubers have been talking about this, at least that I have seen. 2 that I know for sure that have started doing things are Kristen over at Super Space Chick. For every 5 books she does a wrap up, and I didn't want to do it like that because I know I could read a lot of books in a month. Like, you never know, I could read hardly anything, and then I could read so much that I'm burning myself out. So I didn't want to do that, but that was an idea I could have done. And I know Sue Morrow over at Sue's Book Nook, she's doing a reading wrap up, or just a reading update. So I don't know if she's doing just like every week doing a reading update. I think those are kind of, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how she does it, but she just does a reading update, and that's pretty much her like wrap ups for that time. So yeah, that was another way I could have done it, but I didn't really want to do it like that. I do like having the structure, like this is like the time I need to do a wrap up, but yeah, I want to do 2 in the month. I want to do a mid and an end, and that's how I want it. That's, I think, how I want it to be. It'll be a lot easier for me because then I'll be able to remember things more clearly. Yeah, I couldn't do it in January, and I can't do it in February just because I have so many videos that's gonna be coming up. I have, well, for every week in January I have 2 videos, and now for every week in February I have 2 videos. That's just how it happened. It won't be happening after that. I don't really have any other videos planned, so I'll just go back to my basic videos, not basic, but my standard videos. I talked about this in my January book haul, which might go up after this, but book hauls might be changing as well, so if you want to know more about that, go check out my January book haul. I don't know if it'll go up before or after this, but we'll see. So yeah, that's gonna happen. Another reason why I'm doing it like that is because this video might actually be 30 minutes long. This video might be a really long one because I have a lot to talk about, and I hate doing this. I hate sitting here for 30 minutes, especially when I can't remember a lot. I mean, I don't mind making long videos if that's what but I just, you know, I know you guys don't want to see a long video, and I really don't want to sit here doing this really, really long video either. I get tired, you know, towards the end especially, and it just happens. And especially if this video has already cut out once. Like, I don't know if you could tell in the beginning, but it's already cut out, and I had to, you know, find more space. But if it cuts out again before the end of this video, I'm going to scream. So yeah, that's how this is gonna go. So yeah, I'm thinking just to wrap up some months starting in March, and hopefully it'll just be a lot easier and better, and we'll see. We'll just see how that goes. So yeah, let's talk about my wrap up, guys. And again, this isn't going to be just about books. This is everything that happened in the month of January. So let's talk with a few personal things. First off, I got my hair cut. It's short now. When you straighten, it's actually a little bit longer, but I like it like this length. I can still put my hair up because I do work at Panera and you do have to have your hair up, so that was like one of my requirements. But I just really wanted it to look nice, and I've had long hair for so long, I haven't really gotten it cut at all. So yeah, I went to one of my friends and she cut my hair, and I love it. I love it a lot. Let's see. Another thing that happened, I don't know if you can hear the sirens. Of course. I hope people are okay. Damn. This could be a really bad accident. It's still going. That's close. Okay. It's not by us. Okay, so yeah. What was I talking about? Oh, so I got my hair cut, and in the month of December, right before Christmas, my car was in an accident. It's totaled. We're still dealing with that, and the insurance company and everything. That's just a pain. Another thing is, I bought a new purse. It's a Beauty and the Beast purse. It's a Loungefly. It's freaking... Wait, is this Loungefly? Oh no, this isn't Loungefly. I don't know why, for some reason I thought this was a Loungefly. It's not. But it is a satchel, and it's huge, and I love it, and it's amazing, and that there's like books on the side, and then there's roses on the back, and I really love it. Me and my friend both bought the same one. I was going to get a different one, but that one was on sale, and it's a lot bigger, and it's exactly what I wanted, so I was like, we're gonna get the same one, we're gonna be matching. So we are matching. Alright, now into what I did, or watched, played, read, everything. So, in my 2018 goals, I talked about making reading less of a priority and trying to focus more on like the TV shows, the movies, and everything else that I still have yet to either watch, play, or anything. So every month I am trying to binge watch one show, and I'm also trying, at least in the year, play 5 video games that I backlisted that I've owned for at least before the start of this year. As well as the anime and the movies and everything that I've owned, or at least been actively wanting to watch, that again have come out before this year. None of the games, or well, yeah, none of the games count for this. But okay. Alright, so let's talk about the anime, which there are none. I watched no anime at all in the month of January. I'm trying to rectify that in February. We shall see. I was going to watch one anime that didn't happen because I thought it was coming out in January. Again, this wouldn't have counted anyway to the anime I was wanting to watch, or the 5 anime I need to watch. I'm going to talk more, I'm going to go in more in depth of the 5s in another video. I am planning on actually writing a list of 5 each of each categories, and then those are the ones that I will hopefully focus on. But yeah, so I didn't watch any anime. I was planning on watching one anime that didn't actually come out in January. It comes out in February, so I have to wait for that. But we'll see. Hopefully I will watch quite a few anime and I'll be really happy. The games that I played, or at least started to play, because again, I don't have to actually complete anything. I just have to complete them in the year. I don't have to complete them in a month or anything. But again, both of these games came out in January, so they don't count towards the ones that I need to play. But I did go out and buy, first I went and bought Digimon Cyber Sleuth 2 Hacker's Memory. I was never the biggest fan of Digimon. This is a huge thing. I've never been the biggest fan of Digimon at all. I've always preferred Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and even Beyblade to Digimon. But a couple of years ago, my friend was playing the first Digimon Cyber Sleuth, and I was really enjoying watching that, so I went and bought it, and I really loved the game. This is only Cyber Sleuth, though. There are other Digimon games. I don't have any interest in getting those or playing those. I've thought about it, but I've seen things. I don't want to. They don't seem fun or anything. I really love the mystery and the hacking and everything that goes into this. So I went and bought the sequel because this just came out January 19th, and I've been playing this and I'm really enjoying it. I'm not that far in, but I am really enjoying what I'm playing. And then Dissidia, Final Fantasy Dissidia NT. I should really say it right. This is a remake. I don't know if this is a remake. I'm just gonna go with it. This is a remake of the old Dissidia games that came out for the PSP like years ago. I played those. I've never been the biggest like fan of like fighting games, but I love Final Fantasy, and yeah. I don't really play Mortal Kombat, or I've played Mortal Kombat. I've played Soul Calibur. I'm not the biggest fan of playing them, though. I will maybe every once in a while, but they're not something I like to actively play, like get into. I like a story. And yes, Final Fantasy, and they all have stories, but they're just not stories that I want to delve into, really. But I do love Final Fantasy a lot. A lot. So this one came out at the very end of the month, so I barely touched it, but these were the two that I started and will continue on in the month of February. So let's see. Movies that I went and saw. These are movies I went and saw in theaters. I am trying to watch my own movies that I own. Again, those would be for the 5. These don't count because, again, well, no, these came out in December, but they still don't count. So I went and saw 2 movies in theaters. The first one was The Last Jedi, Star Wars 8. I think that's Star Wars 8. I binge watched all of Star Wars like in December, and I think I forgot to talk about that in my December wrap up. I loved The Force Awakens. So The Last Jedi is a sequel to that. And I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it as much as I love Force Awakens. But I thought it was really good, and yeah, Luke's back, which I've never been the hugest fan of Luke. I know, I'm gonna get murdered in this. I've never been the hugest fan of Luke, or Leia, or Han Solo. Sorry, I'm so gonna get killed. I like them, I don't mind watching them, I'm just not the hugest fan. I love Rey, though. I think she's a really kick-butt character. I'm not the biggest fan of Kylo Ren. I'm so gonna get killed. My best friend is like huge on Kylo Ren. She thinks he's so hot. She loves him. She fangirls over him. I just don't see it. Sorry. There's so much more. But yeah, I went and saw Last Jedi. I thought it was good. If I had to rate it, which I really don't want to rate it, but I give it like a 4. Yeah, I give it like 4 stars out of 5. I thought it was good. The other movie I went and saw was The Greatest Showman, which stars Hugh Jackman, and Zac Efron, and Zendaya, and others. Sorry, I don't remember. I think Rebecca Ferguson is one. I can't remember a lot of their names. But it's a musical. Hugh Jackman plays P.T. Barnum, so you know the story of P.T. Barnum, and Barnum Circus and everything like that. The Circus of the Exotic, I think, is how he was wording it. They're freaks. They're not freaks, so I don't call them freaks, but that's what, of course, I call them in the movie. At least, you know, the awful people do. Wow, this is so hard for me to say. I should really just say that I freaking love that movie. I love that movie. I'm probably going to see it again Sunday night, so I'll see it for the second time. My friend will have seen it for the third time. We just both really, really love that movie, and I cannot wait for it to come on DVD so I can buy it and I can rewatch it over and over again. I've been listening to the soundtrack daily, hourly, minutely. Oh my god, anytime I can listen to music, that is music I want to listen to. I want to listen to nothing else but that. But that soundtrack. I love all of the songs. The Greatest Show, Rewrite the Stars, The Other Side, This Is Me. Oh my god, This Is Me made me cry so hard. I literally cried my eyes out. I couldn't believe how much I cried for that song. Oh my, I love that movie. That movie was fantastic. It was glorious, and if you love musicals and you love Hugh Jackman, why haven't you seen this movie yet? But yeah, it's definitely one to see. It was just one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah. Alright, now, for the TV show that I binged. Now, if you see my January book haul before you see this, you will have known what show it is. And I'm going to show you the books for this, because, well, I do have the first season. I don't have all of them, and I can show you all of them in book form, so we're just going to do it like that. And that is Outlander. I went and binged all 3 seasons of Outlander. So, Outlander Season 1, Outlander Season 2, which is A Dragonfly in Amber. But yeah, these are the TV show tie-in editions, so they work perfectly. And Outlander Season 3, which is Voyager. And it follows Claire and Jamie and Scotland in, you know, the past. And why can't I remember? 1743. Claire's from 1945, so right after World War II. Oh god. But yeah, it's amazing. I love it. I love everything about this show. And I went out and bought all 3 of the, you know, this is a spoiler for my January book haul if you haven't seen that yet. But, oh my god, I love this show. I love this show so much. I love everything. Oh my god. So yeah, I went out and bought all 3 books. I'm gonna binge read those. Well, not binge read because that just won't happen, but I am eagerly anticipating the 4th season as well as the 4th book to come out in this so that I can, you know. So yeah, I'm obsessed. It's an obsession. That's how it is. It's almost 20 minutes and I still have yet to talk about the books that I read in the month of January. This is why I feel that this is going to be a very, very long video and why I want to just, yeah. I want to cut this in half. So, okay. Let's get to the books because we've already talked about my obsession with Outlander and can't talk any more about that without going way too in-depth in this video. Okay, so the first book that I actually read in the month of January was my 12 to read in 2018, and I'm trying to read one a month, so I read After You by Jojo Moyes. This is the sequel to Me Before You. This book set 2 years later, after Me Before You, and everything that happened in that book. And Lou is living in London. She has her own flat. She has this really dead-end job. She hates it. She's struggling to get by, but she's also struggling to move past all the events of the first book. And it is 2 years later, but she's still, grieving. And she's still struggling, and she's going to therapy and doing all of that, so that's a really good thing. She also gets into this really bad accident where she falls off a roof, and she, 5 stories, and she actually survives, and she breaks her hip and other damage. But she meets the paramedic who saved her life. Well, he actually did save her life if you think about it. He got her to the hospital, so yeah, she meets him. His name is Sam. There's a love interest, of course. Also, when she gets back from being in a hospital and everything, she meets someone from Will's past, which, also brings her down this really dark path. It's not a really dark path. I don't know why I keep saying this. It helps her struggle even more with what she's going through and with moving past everything. And also, she has this opportunity to get this really, you know, great job, and she turns it down because she believes she has to be there for the certain person. And you know, of course she's just making up excuses. She doesn't really want to move on. But, you know, it'll help her grow. And, wow, this is so hard for me to talk about. This is, again, I had all of these thoughts, like, in the very beginning of the month. I didn't like the sister at all in this, but, well, I did maybe towards the end, but I really, really wasn't liking the sister as much. I actually didn't like the sister in the first one either. I think I liked her in the movie more. But, yeah, the sister always, like, annoys me. Yeah. I don't want to go too much into this again, because this is going to be a really long video, but I gave this a, well, I can't even remember what I gave this. I think I gave this a 4.25 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. A lot of people that I've watched that have read this, you know, I struggled with picking this up, because I didn't know if this was needed. After Me Before You got some kind of closure, even though it wasn't as much to my liking. When I started reading this, I really liked that she was still struggling. You know, it's real, and it's just a real, yeah, it's just realistic. She's just very realistic, and she's still struggling to get by and to move past everything, and I just really enjoyed this, and yeah, I gave it 4.25 stars. Next book I read is The Love, Life, and the List by Kasie West. This is Kasie West's newest book, where our main character, Abby, is an artist, and she wants to get her art into this one art show, but the one in charge of the art show denies her request. And he says that her art has no heart, and so she writes this list of experiences that she needs to have so she can add more heart to her art. Wow, I hate that. And some of those are learn a stranger's story, fall in love, have your heart broken, all of that. She's also in this unrequited love, or she's got this unrequited love with her best friend Cooper. I really, really love this. I think I gave this 5 stars. I don't want to say I did, but yeah, I gave this 5 stars. I really, really loved this Kasie West book. And I really loved the relationship that Abby has with her grandfather. They're so sarcastic, and it's so perfect. It's like me and my dad. We're just so sarcastic. And then the emails that her and her father send to each other, I really loved reading those, even though they're not that many. I just really liked those. She even mentions in the book, well, Abby does, that her father is, like, a master at emails, and it's true. It was fantastic. I loved it. Yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and I give this 5 stars. Then I read Kasie West's other book, The Distance Between Us. I don't know if this is her first, but this is definitely one of her oldest books. And this one follows Cayman, who works in her mother's doll shop, and in walks in this guy, Xander. He's a rich boy, you can tell. And instantly, she doesn't like him because he's rich. They do have this, like, romance and relationship and everything, but her and her mother are really prejudiced to the rich. For reasons that appear in this book. Yeah, I don't know if I really enjoyed the prejudice that, feelings they had towards the rich. I understand where they were coming from, but it's like, not all rich people are assholes, and not all rich people do that kind of thing. It's like, really? But okay. I did enjoy the book overall, though. I did give it a 4 stars. Yeah, I did enjoy the relationship and the romance, and I did. There were some, like, there was, like, a mystery going on, secrets that, her mother's been keeping from her, and I really liked learning about those, and yeah, 4 stars. Then I read The Girl in the Tower by Katherine Arden. This is a sequel to The Bear and the Nightingale, which I read last year, the very end, and I loved it so much. It's one of my all-time favorite books, and I don't really know how to describe that book or this book without spoiling everything. So really, that book just follows our main character, Vasya, who lives in the Russian wilderness, and this is a like a retelling of a Russian folklore, and it's really dark and eerie, and it's just really, really good. And it's set in the winter, of course. So, and it's just like where the dark kind of creep into her home, and she has to battle the dark forces that are threatening her home. But in this sequel, that was the first one. This one, Vasya has left her home for reasons that happened in the other one. And now she's traveling Russia, I guess. And you get to see more of her siblings, which you didn't really get to see in the other book just because they weren't in like half of it. So you get to see more of them in this, which I really liked. I do feel like Vasya, even though she hasn't seen the world, this is her first time, and she makes certain choices which I feel weren't the greatest choices, but, you know, because she hasn't seen the world, she doesn't really know, she's more like naive, and she's really young, and it's just, you could tell, like, yeah, these choices aren't the greatest, but I don't fault her for making them just because how is she supposed to know these choices aren't the greatest? You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, you get to see Moscow, and it's a beautiful, beautiful take, beautifully written, love the characters, just everything that happened again, it's like a new dark force that she must battle, and it's, oh my god, there's like a ghost story in this as well, and I really loved it. I gave this one, though, 4.25 stars, just because there were some moments where I was just like, okay, did I really like that? No. There is a hint of romance in this between her and the Frost Demon, or Frost King, Frost Demon, I don't know how he goes, Morozko. I love him. He's death. Yeah. And I love him. I like that you see a lot more of him in this than you did in the first book. But yeah, 4.25 stars. I really loved it, and I can't wait for the third one. Then I read Vicious by V. Schwab. This is a, okay, so this is like a superhero / villain book. This follows our two characters, Victor and Eli. They were best friends, or like really, really good friends. Oh my god. They were friends in school, in college, and they had to do, they worked on their thesis together, and they did this experiment. They were trying to give each other they were trying to become EOs, which are extraordinaries, and have powers. In doing that, though, you have to have a near-death experience. Actually, you must die and then come back. So yeah, the experiment went horribly, horribly wrong. Now, cut 10 years later, and Victor is getting out of jail, and he wants Eli dead. Oh, and Eli is not a fan of Victor either. Stuff happened. So in the beginning of this book, it starts in the present for like a page, and then you go 10 years 10 years earlier, then you come back and you're 2 days before the present. And a lot of that I wasn't really like loving in the beginning. I did appreciate it later on. I do love like flashbacks and stuff, and I really love learning backstories and everything. But I just would have liked, at least in the beginning, a little more of the present before I was thrust into the past, you know? So yeah, I did really enjoy this, though. I really loved that, you know, it's not black and white. There are some gray. The villains may not you know, like, the villains may not be as villainous as you would think, and the heroes may not exactly be heroes. But that's the roles that they're playing, and it's not black and white. So I really did enjoy this, and I heard there's a sequel coming. So I'm really excited for that. We shall see. I gave this book 4.5 stars. Yeah. Then the next book I read was a lot like that, and that is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This is another, like, villain hero story where, again, not all is black and white. The heroes aren't exactly heroes, and the villains aren't entirely yes, the villains do villainous things, but they might have reasons behind it, and the heroes might not be, you know, they might have some dark secrets, possibly. But yeah, this one is, it's about our main character, Nova, and she is an anarchist, and the anarchists are the villains, and the renegades are the heroes. Nova is an anarchist, and she is infiltrating the renegades to learn more about them and to also exact her revenge on them for something that has happened in the past. And I really loved her main character, Nova. I thought she was really great. She also meets Aiden, or is it Adrian? Hold on, I wrote this down. Adrian. Okay. So she meets Adrian, who is a renegade, and she starts to have these feelings for him, though knowing that he's a renegade and she's an anarchist. So, forbidden love kind of thing. Really loving that. I really did enjoy this book. I really loved our main characters. I really loved all the characters, really. Even the villains. There were some villains who, you know, you're like, oh, I really like them. And then there are some villains that, yeah, definitely, that's a villain. For sure. But, yeah, I love the fact that, again, it's not black and white. There are some gray. And I just really loved it. I only gave this, though, 4 stars. Just because it wasn't exactly... there were some things that I would have liked more from. I just would have liked more overall, even though this is like 550 pages, I think. Yeah, this is around 550 pages, and I just would have really liked some, more action and more, maybe a little bit more romance. I was kind of hoping for. I am eagerly anticipating the second one. I think this is only going to be a duology, so if it's really only going to be a duology, I'm definitely waiting to read that. Oh my god, I can't wait for that. The very end is like, what? Oh my god. It just really, it's a huge cliffhanger, and it just hurts. And I got this cover. I talk about this all the time. I really love the Target exclusive cover, but yeah. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the sequel. Alright, we're getting down to the end, guys, I swear. Zenith, the Andromeda Saga by Sasha Osberg and Lindsay Cummings. I bought this in January, and I got this signed. I was at the Zenith event in Chicago, and yeah. So this is follows Andy, our main character, who is the captain of the Marauder, which is a spaceship, and you know, she's got her all-female crew, and then they go on this mission, and it doesn't go exactly as planned, and she ends up meeting people from her past who want her to go on this one mission that could be very, very good for her, but also could end very badly for her. You guess which one happens? There is a romance between Andy, our main character, and Dex, someone from her past. And I did like the romance. This one wasn't the greatest book. I wish... There were some things I was just like cringing on. I did like it overall. I give this a 3.5 stars. I think it just, you know, it could have been a little better, but I did enjoy it. And I am going to be picking up the sequel, which, again, is a duology, so I will be picking up the sequel/conclusion. But yeah, I mean, it was good. It just wasn't the greatest thing ever written or ever done. But yeah, I am glad that I have this, and I'm glad that I read this, and I'm definitely going to be picking up the sequel when that comes out. So again, 3.5 stars. Alright, the last 3 or 6 books, I should say, are all smut, so if you don't want to hear about it, then yeah. But I'm gonna talk about it. I picked up a series, and that was the Stark trilogy by Jay Kenner. I actually have read these before. There's Release Me, Claim Me, and Complete Me. They all follow Damien Stark and Nikki Fairchild. Damien is the billionaire, of course, and Nikki is his love interest. They've met a long time ago, and now she wants to see him again, and yeah, she just wants to talk to him. They end up, of course, having this huge love affair, or romance, and yeah, just things happen. Again, they're not the greatest, like, written books, and I know that, but I did enjoy the story and the steamy scenes, of course. But yeah, it happens where Nikki is fired from her job, and, you know, Damien is somewhat to blame for it. And then he offers Nikki $1 million to you know, he offers her $1 million for a nude portrait of her. So yeah. I did enjoy these books. I gave the entire trilogy 4 stars. I also read the 3 novellas that follow these: Take Me, Have Me, and Play With Me. Again, I did enjoy those. They just follow the story more. They're very short because they are novellas, but yeah, they just follow the story, and I did enjoy them. Again, I gave the entire Stark trilogy and novellas all together as a whole 4 stars. And I will be continuing with the series, because there is another trilogy and more novellas, and actually there's more trilogies, but we'll talk about more of that in my February wrap-up. So yeah, that's all that I read, watched, played, everything. That's everything that happened in the month of January. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know this was very long, and again, I'm going to try my hardest to split my wrap-ups from now on and try to make them a little shorter. We shall see. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again in another video. Bye. Happy reading.